When the power goes out at 2 a.m. during a winter storm, will you be ready or will you be scrambling in the dark, wondering how you'll make it through the night? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 15 essential strategies that will transform any power outage from a potential disaster into a manageable situation. These aren't just tips, they're proven methods that could keep you and your family safe, comfortable, and connected when the grid goes down. Welcome to Crisis Horizon, where we help you prepare for the unexpected. If you're serious about protecting what matters most, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss critical information that could make all the difference when disaster strikes. Let's start with something that's become absolutely critical in our modern world: staying connected. When the power goes out, your first instinct is probably to reach for your phone. But what happens when that battery hits 20%, then 10%, then goes dark? You've just lost your ability to call for help, check emergency updates, or let your loved ones know you're okay. This is where power banks become your lifeline to the outside world. These portable charging devices are absolutely indispensable during emergencies, and not all power banks are created equal. You want to look for models with high capacity, at least 20,000 milliamp hours, and multiple charging ports so you can keep several devices running simultaneously. Some of the best models can fully charge a smartphone 4 or 5 times before they need recharging themselves. But here's where it gets interesting. The most prepared individuals don't just rely on standard power banks. They invest in models that can be recharged via solar panels or even car battery adapters. Imagine being 3 days into an extended outage and still being able to charge your devices simply by placing a solar panel in a sunny window. That's the kind of flexibility that separates those who thrive during emergencies from those who merely survive. Storage is crucial too. Keep your power banks fully charged at all times and store them in accessible locations, not buried in a closet somewhere. And here's a pro tip that many people miss. If you already use battery-powered tool systems like Ryobi or Milwaukee, you can buy adapters that let you charge phones and tablets directly from those high-capacity tool batteries. You might already have emergency power sitting in your garage and not even know it. Now, staying connected to your devices is one thing, but what about staying informed about what's actually happening outside your 4 walls? This is where emergency radios become absolutely vital. When the internet goes down and cell towers lose power, how will you know if a tornado is heading your way? How will you learn about evacuation orders or where emergency shelters are opening? Battery-powered and hand-crank radios, especially NOAA weather radios, become your window to critical, life-saving information. The best emergency radios don't just rely on batteries alone. Look for models with solar panels and hand cranks built right in. Even if you run out of batteries completely, you can always generate power manually. 30 seconds of cranking can give you several minutes of listening time. Some models even include built-in flashlights and USB ports to charge other devices. They're like Swiss Army knives for emergencies. Don't just buy one radio and call it done. Strategic placement throughout your home is key. Keep one in your bedroom, one in your living room, and one in your pantry or emergency supply area. When disaster strikes, you don't want to be searching through dark rooms, trying to remember where you put that one radio 3 years ago. Let's talk about something most people don't think about until it's too late: cash. We live in a digital world where you can tap your phone to buy coffee or order groceries without ever touching physical money. But when the power goes out, those electronic payment systems collapse instantly. Gas stations can't process credit cards, stores can't run their registers, ATMs go dark. If you need to buy supplies, fuel, or anything else during an extended outage, you'll need actual cash in hand. The question is, how much? This is deeply personal and depends on your situation, but a good starting point is enough to cover several days of essentials: food, water, fuel, medications. For some people, that might be $200. For others with larger families or specific needs, it might be significantly more. The key is having enough to matter, but not so much that losing it would be devastating. Here's the smart approach. Don't keep all your emergency cash in one place. Spread it across multiple locations. Keep some in a safe, some in a discreet envelope in your pantry, maybe some in a jar in your bedroom. This creates redundancy. If one stash becomes inaccessible or gets lost, you still have others to fall back on. And here's a habit worth building. Occasionally use cash for small transactions. It keeps you comfortable with handling physical money and reminds you that digital isn't always reliable. Now let's shift to the absolute fundamentals, the things you literally cannot survive without. Food and water aren't just important during a power outage, they're non-negotiable essentials that form the foundation of any preparedness plan. The baseline recommendation is a minimum 3 days of ready-to-eat non-perishable foods and at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. But let's be honest, 3 days is just the starting point. The truly prepared aim for 3 weeks, 3 months, or even longer. When selecting food, think about items that require absolutely no preparation. Canned goods are classic for a reason. Beans, vegetables, fruits, soups, and meats all store well and pack nutrition. But don't stop there. Dried fruits, nuts, granola bars, crackers, peanut butter, and shelf-stable meals round out your options. The goal is variety and nutrition without needing heat or extensive preparation. Water store. Store clean, potable water in sturdy containers, not milk jugs which degrade over time. Food-grade water containers or even clean soda bottles work well. Place them in cool, dark locations and rotate your supply every 6 months to ensure freshness. Remember, it's not just about drinking. You'll need water for basic hygiene, cooking, and cleaning too. Here's the reality check. Most people underestimate how much water they actually use. 1 gallon per person per day sounds like plenty until you're trying to brush your teeth, wash your hands, and rinse dishes with it. If you have space, store more than the minimum. But here's a scenario that catches people off guard every single time. You've got a pantry full of canned goods, soups, vegetables, beans, fruits, everything you need to eat well during an emergency. The power goes out. You're hungry. You reach for a can of soup and suddenly realize you have no way to open it. Your electric can opener is useless and you never bought a manual one. This sounds almost comically simple, but it happens more often than you'd think. Manual can openers are the tool that unlocks your entire pantry, and yet they're one of the most overlooked items in emergency preparedness. Quality absolutely matters here. Those cheap dollar store can openers, they break, they slip, they become nearly impossible to use, especially as you get older and your hand strength diminishes. Invest in sturdy, ergonomic designs from reputable brands. The difference between a $5 can opener and a $15 one could be the difference between eating and going hungry. Redundancy is your friend. Don't buy just one. Keep manual can openers in multiple locations: your kitchen, your pantry, your emergency kit, maybe even one in your car. If one fails or gets misplaced, you've got backups ready to go. Power outages don't just inconvenience you, they actively increase your risk of injury. When you're navigating dark hallways, cooking with alternative methods, or dealing with stressful situations, accidents happen. Falls, cuts, burns, and other injuries become far more likely. And here's the problem. During major outages, accessing medical facilities may be difficult or impossible. This is why a well-stocked first aid kit isn't optional, it's essential. At minimum, you need bandages of various sizes, antiseptics, pain relievers, tweezers, scissors, and any prescription medications your family depends on. But don't stop at the basics. Consider adding a suture kit if you have the knowledge to use one. Include antibiotic ointment, burn cream, elastic bandages for sprains, and a thermometer. If anyone in your family has specific medical conditions, stock supplies for those as well. EpiPens for allergies, glucose tablets for diabetics, inhalers for asthma. Customization is key. A first aid kit for a family with young children looks different from one for elderly individuals or people with chronic conditions. Take the time to think through what medical situations you might realistically face and prepare accordingly. And here's something people forget. Check your kit regularly. Medications expire. Supplies get used and not replaced. Set a reminder every 6 months to inventory your first aid supplies and refresh anything that's outdated or missing. Let's talk about something that becomes critical during extended outages but often gets overlooked until it's too late: personal hygiene. When the power's out and water might be scarce, maintaining cleanliness isn't just about comfort, it's about health. Poor hygiene during emergencies can lead to infections, illnesses, and serious complications that compound an already difficult situation. Yet most people don't dedicate shelf space to hygiene supplies the way they do for food and water. Create a dedicated hygiene shelf in your pantry or storage area. Stock it with shampoo, conditioner, soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, wet wipes, hand sanitizer, and dry shampoo. These items might seem mundane, but they become precious when you can't simply turn on the tap or run to the store. Wet wipes are particularly valuable because they allow you to clean yourself without using much water at all. Dry shampoo keeps hair manageable when showering isn't an option. Hand sanitizer prevents the spread of germs when washing hands normally isn't possible. Don't forget feminine hygiene products, diapers if you have young children, and any other personal care items specific to your family's needs. The goal is to maintain dignity and health even when your normal routines are disrupted. Here's the bottom line. Neglecting hygiene during an emergency isn't just unpleasant, it's dangerous. Waterborne illnesses, skin infections, and other health issues can spiral quickly when basic cleanliness falls by the wayside. A few dollars spent on wet wipes and dry shampoo now could prevent serious health problems later. We've covered communication, safety, and survival fundamentals. Now let's talk about the things that transform a miserable experience into a manageable one, starting with the most basic need during any power outage: light. Navigating your home in complete darkness isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Falls, bumps, and injuries spike during outages, especially for older adults. Having multiple lighting solutions throughout your home is critical for safety and sanity. LED flashlights are your first line of defense. They're energy efficient, incredibly bright, and long-lasting. Keep several in strategic locations: bedside tables, kitchen drawers, hallway closets. Headlamps are even better for tasks that require both hands, like cooking or first aid. Lanterns provide ambient lighting for entire rooms. Battery-operated LED lanterns can run for days on a single set of batteries and illuminate enough space that your family can gather, eat, or play games together without stumbling around in the dark. Here's a clever solution many people miss: battery-operated candles. These provide soft, ambient light, and many models include timers, so you can set them to turn on automatically at dusk.
They're safe, require no supervision, and create a comforting atmosphere without the fire risk of real candles. Solar-powered lights are another game changer. Place solar lights outside during the day, along walkways, on your deck, hanging from trees. When night falls, bring them inside. They'll provide hours of light without drawing any power from your grid or your battery supply. This works especially well in summer, though they'll still charge on bright winter days too. Traditional candles and matches absolutely have their place as backup. Just make sure your matches are waterproof or stored in vacuum-sealed containers to prevent moisture damage. Nothing's worse than discovering your emergency matches are soggy and useless when you need them most. Strategic placement is everything. Don't wait until the power goes out to figure out where lights should go. Place them now in every room so you can navigate safely no matter where you are when darkness hits. Here's something that might surprise you. One of the most demoralizing aspects of a power outage isn't the darkness or the silence. It's eating cold food from a can while sitting in the dark. Hot meals provide comfort, boost morale, and deliver better nutrition during stressful times. The question is, how do you cook without electricity? Alternative cooking methods can be surprisingly simple and affordable. Let's start with an unexpected hero, the fondue pot. Yes, that retro appliance from the 1970s gathering dust in thrift stores everywhere. Fondue pots can heat food using tea lights or small sterno cans, making them perfect for warming soups, beans, or even boiling water for coffee. You can often find them for just a few dollars at secondhand stores, and they're genuinely useful during outages. Camp stoves are the more obvious choice. These portable units run on propane or butane and can cook full meals just like your regular stove. They're perfect for outdoor use or in well-ventilated areas. Just make sure you stock adequate fuel and understand how to operate them safely before an emergency happens. Portable grills work too, though they're best suited for outdoor cooking. Charcoal or propane grills can handle everything from boiling water to grilling meat, giving you hot, satisfying meals even when the power's been out for days. For coffee lovers, here's a sanity saver. Keep a camp percolator on hand. The ability to make hot coffee during a stressful outage is worth its weight in gold for morale alone. But here's the critical safety warning you absolutely cannot ignore. Never use fuel-burning devices indoors unless they're specifically designed for it. Camp stoves, grills, and generators produce carbon monoxide, an invisible, odorless gas that kills. Even cracking a window isn't enough ventilation. Outdoor use only, period. This isn't a suggestion, it's a life or death rule. When the temperature drops and you have no heat, your comfort and potentially your survival depend on one simple thing: staying warm. This is where warm blankets and sleeping bags become essential, and here's the beautiful part: they never expire. Stock up on extra blankets, comforters, and sleeping bags. Store them in accessible locations, not packed away in an attic where you'd have to dig through boxes in the dark to find them. Closets, under beds, or dedicated storage bins work perfectly. Even if you live in a mild climate, don't skip this step. Cold snaps happen, weather patterns shift. A winter storm that would normally be rare could leave you shivering in a house with no heat for days. Being prepared for unexpected temperature drops is just smart planning. Layering is your best friend. Multiple blankets trap heat better than one thick one. Sleeping bags rated for cold temperatures can keep you comfortable even when indoor temperatures plummet. And if you have multiple family members, huddling together under shared blankets increases warmth significantly. Here's the thing about staying warm. Once you lose body heat, it's hard to get it back without external heating sources. Prevention is everything. At the first sign of cold, add layers. Don't wait until you're already shivering. Most of your emergency devices, flashlights, radios, lanterns, battery-operated candles, rely on batteries to function. Running out of batteries in the middle of a crisis is a preventable disaster, but there's a balance to strike here. Yes, you need extra batteries. Stock up on the types you use most: AA, A3A, 9-volt, and whatever else your devices require. But don't go overboard. Batteries can leak, corrode, or lose charge over time, especially if stored improperly. The smart approach is rotation. Before outage season hits, typically fall and winter in most regions, go through all your devices and replace the batteries. Use the old ones in non-essential items and stock fresh ones in your emergency gear. Store batteries in a cool, dry place, preferably in their original packaging. Keep them organized by type so you're not frantically searching through a jumbled drawer when the lights go out. And here's a strategy that reduces your battery dependency altogether. Prioritize hand crank and solar-powered devices wherever possible. Radios that crank, lanterns that charge via solar, these eliminate the battery problem entirely. When your refrigerator dies, you're on a clock. Perishable foods start spoiling, medications that need refrigeration are at risk, and you're potentially looking at hundreds of dollars in wasted groceries. This is where coolers and ice packs become invaluable. If you know a storm is coming, freeze ice packs in advance. When the power goes out, transfer your most important perishables, medications, dairy, meat, into coolers with those ice packs. This buys you time, often days if you manage it well, and keep the cooler closed as much as possible. Coolers serve a second critical purpose: mobility. If you need to evacuate, you can't take your refrigerator with you, but you can grab a cooler packed with essentials. This makes it possible to preserve food and medicine even if you're...
Here's a tip. Keep at least 2 coolers on hand. Use one for food and one for medications or other temperature-sensitive items. This separation prevents contamination and makes organization easier during chaotic situations. Let's talk about tools, specifically the kind that pack maximum versatility into minimal space. Multi-tools and Swiss Army knives are the ultimate preparedness accessories, offering everything from knife blades to screwdrivers, can openers to scissors, all in one compact package. These tools can handle an enormous range of tasks during emergencies. Need to cut cord, open a package, tighten a loose screw, make a quick repair? A good multi-tool has you covered. Models range from simple 5-tool versions to complex 30-tool versions with every imaginable attachment. Strategic placement is key. Keep one in each vehicle. You never know when you'll need to make a roadside repair or cut a seatbelt in an emergency. Keep one in your bag or purse. Place them in strategic locations around your home, perhaps one in the kitchen and one in your main emergency kit. When choosing a multi-tool, focus on functionality over novelty. Get one with tools you'll actually use. A corkscrew might be fun, but pliers, a sharp blade, and screwdrivers are far more practical for emergency situations. Finally, let's talk about something that could make the difference between being able to rebuild your life after a disaster and facing bureaucratic nightmares: your important documents. If you need to evacuate quickly, grabbing loose papers from various drawers and folders isn't realistic. This is where the concept of a bug-out binder becomes essential: a single, organized collection of all your critical documents in one easily accessible location. What goes in this binder? IDs and passports, insurance policies for home, auto, and health, medical records and prescription information, bank account details and financial documents, property deeds and titles, emergency contact lists, and copies of important certificates like birth certificates and marriage licenses. Store this binder in your bug-out bag or another location where you can grab it in 30 seconds or less. Some people keep theirs in a fireproof safe near their main exit. Others keep it in their car. The location matters less than the ability to access it instantly. Update this binder regularly. Insurance policies change, medical information updates, new family members arrive. Set a calendar reminder every 6 months to review and refresh your documents. Here's why this matters. After a disaster, proving who you are, what you owned, and what you're entitled to can be the difference between receiving insurance payouts and being left with nothing. Digital backups are smart, but physical copies you can hand to officials or insurance adjusters are irreplaceable. Here's the truth. At some point, everyone will face a power outage. It might be brief and minor, but it could be extended and severe. The difference between chaos and calm, between panic and peace of mind, is preparation. You don't need to be extreme about this. You don't need to build a bunker or spend thousands of dollars. You just need to take practical, actionable steps to ensure you and your loved ones can weather the storm, literally and figuratively. Every item you add to your kit, every strategy you implement, every drill you run brings you closer to genuine readiness. And that readiness doesn't just protect you during emergencies, it provides peace of mind every single day. You sleep better knowing that if disaster strikes tomorrow, you're ready. The difference between chaos and calm during a power outage isn't luck, it's preparation. Start with just one item from this list today, and you're already ahead of 90% of people who will panic when the lights go out. If you found this information valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to Crisis Horizon. We're here to help you prepare for whatever the future holds, one practical step at a time. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time